Hi everyone, welcome to today's book discussion. So today we'll be discussing Chasing Butterflies by Yejide Kilanko. This is not the first time I'd be coming across this author, and every time I get to read anything written by her, it always keeps me in that state of introspection. Most of the time, her women always get to suffer. So in Chasing Butterflies, let's just say the story is not very far fetched. Heartbreaking, yes. Very, very, extremely heartbreaking tale. So in Chasing Butterflies, the author takes us on the journey of domestic violence and the cruelty that man mets out on his fellow man or his wife, which is in the case of Titilope. Titilope is an educated accountant, certified, married, has a child, and yet she gets beaten up at every instance. She gets beaten up at every situation and circumstance. Titilope is a woman who is afraid to leave her home. Titilope is a woman who has been groomed to believe that a woman stays and fights for her home and fights for her children, even when she receives deadly blows to the face, to the skull, every single night. She has been ingrained to believe that where will she go to? Who will marry her? What will she do with her life if she ends up divorcing her husband? Titilope is a scared woman. Titilope is a woman afraid. Titilope is a woman full of fear. And Titilope eventually became a woman who was able to take a stand, who was able to take her life back in her own hands, who was able to say no, and who was able to walk away. In the light of this, we'll be discussing domestic violence in the home. A lot have been said on this podcast, and I'm definitely sure on other platforms as well. Yet, it is very, very heartbreaking that it is something that we have to go over and over again. It is something that is still inherent in our society, in our homes, in our families. Domestic violence. Something that reduces us, that takes away our pride, that instills in us shame, is still prevalent in the society as of now. This brings me to ask, when does a woman breathe? When is a woman allowed to really be herself? Is it when she's single? Is it when she's married? Is it when she's working? Or is it when she has decided to be a stay at home mom? When does a woman own herself? Is it before the menstrual cycle or after the menstrual cycle? Is it before the ovulation or after ovulation? Is it before marriage or after marriage? Is it when she's divorced? Is it when she's widowed? Or is it when she's battling infertility? When do we breathe? When is society allowed to give us a breather? Because in every circumstance, there are always questions. Why are you single? Next thing is, why are you married so early, too early? Why did you marry this person? You're married. Next thing is, when are you having children? The babies are not coming. And it seems like every day your life becomes a prayer. When do we breathe? It is very paramount to note that in every survivor story, there is always the one person who saw it all. There's always the child who knows too much. There's always the child who shouldn't have seen. How do we protect the children in circumstances like this when we know fully well that hurt people as well? Titilope's husband is a victim, or rather, was a victim. He grew up to see his father punch his mom. He never knew that he needed healing. He gets married and it became the same circle. But this time around, it's his own son seeing him punch his wife. People who are hurt and people who need healing will, in a way, hurt other people when they are not fully healed from their trauma. In all of the story, we cannot undermine the essence of having a strong community. This lady was able to walk away, to build a new home for herself and her son, to build a new life, to find a new purpose outside of what she has always believed to be her purpose because she had a strong community. People who were willing to welcome her back, people who had their arms open, waiting for her, cheering her on, lifting her in love and in light. How often do we berate people who decide to walk away? Do we encourage them? Do we give them that pat on the back to say you have done well to have left with your life? Or do we ask them why and encourage them to go back? That a woman's place is to fight. What happens to women who decide to leave and do not have the finance? As in the case of the other characters who wanted to leave but have no money of their own. Survival. For the fear of being homeless, broken, on the streets with nothing to feed on, they chose to stay. And this is why it is overly emphasized that a woman should always have her own money, no matter how small it is. Have something of your own. Have a job, have a business, have something in your name, have something you can call your own. Sometimes people ask, is it possible to be a good husband and a bad father? In circumstances where a man probably fails to be good at both roles. In the case of Titilope, her husband happened to be a bad husband, but a good father to his sons. Someone who needed anger management, who wanted to take charge of his home by all means, forgetting that it never works that way. Chasing Butterflies by Yejide Kilanko. It's a really great book, quite insightful, would annoy you to bits, but you will love the strength in Titilope. You will admire her zeal to move on. You will encourage her in your heart, waiting for her to say, I am done with this. Butterflies are beautiful creatures. Sometimes we sit in our space and we just seem to look on, afraid of chasing after them, afraid of leaving our comfort zone. Maybe when we decide to chase these butterflies, we might come to find that everything we have ever believed in has been a farce all along. Perhaps in chasing these butterflies, we may come to our own enlightenment, awakening. We may come to our own open heart, open heaven. Perhaps in chasing these butterflies, we might find the path that lead to our own dreams as well. And so I'd encourage us to chase our butterflies and not forget to read Chasing Butterflies by Yejide Kilanko. Have a very nice day and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.